So today our topic is, what is the topic? Nursing care bundle. So what is nursing care bundle? Can you tell me? What is a nursing care bundle? What is nursing care bundle? Okay, I'll take you through. A care bundle is a set of intervention that, when used together, significantly improve patient's outcome. Correct. So whatever we do, the outcome should be good. Right. For that, first we have to learn. First we have to know what we have to do. Only then you will be able to implement. Correct. So first you have to get yourself, know what it's all about. So multidisciplinary team work to deliver the best possible outcome supported by evidence-based research and practices with the limit outcome of improving patient care. Correct. Isn't it? So if you do not use evidence-based stuff, then how will you work on ground? It becomes difficult. Correct. So you have to first know what to do about it. So that was an introduction. I'll give you a definition. A systematic proactive nursing intervention designed to anticipate, address the needs of the hospitalized patients. So for that, you have to know the problem. After the problem, if you know, only then you can start doing the work. Then you will start thinking about it, what I have to do, how I'm going to do, isn't it? But unless until if you don't know, if you won't going to assess the patient and don't know the problem, you cannot apply your evidence-based practices. So studies have shown that nursing care bundle done correctly can promote quality, safety, and bring about satisfaction. It is considered to be an evidence-based nursing practices. Right. So what we will do next? So these are some of the improvement documents by research who collected data from the 14 hospitals. There are a lot of hospitals from where the data is taken. So 52% reduction in patient fall can take place, but patient falls are supposed to be the zero tolerance in the hospital. Zero tolerance in the hospital. But if it happens, then what are you going to do? So you have to think on that aspect. Then 14% declined in skin breakdown and pressure ulcer. Bed sores happens, I was asking the other day, how many bed sores we have. They said this many bed sores. I said it is inside or outside. Madam, in the morning when I'm taking, when the supervisor calls, night supervisor, and she gives me handover, I ask all this. We have to know if our bed sores are happening internally, so what is the reason for the increase of bed sores? That is also zero tolerance. But when it's happening, we have to find the cause, why it's happening, and what we have to do to prevent it and see that next time our patients don't develop a bed sore. And if it's coming from outside, definitely we have to work very hard about it and heal the bed sore before patient gets discharged, isn't it? So 12% increase in patient satisfaction rating. So what is happening? Patient satisfaction also, they're very dissatisfied now. They say, my patient came, got admit here, and then came nicely, but going back home with this thing. So they are not happy. They are not satisfied. So you have a problem there and there. Then what are the purpose of nursing care bundle? Okay. So we will see the purpose to observe the physical and mental condition of the patient. That is another purpose. Then to monitor the progress, okay, from day to day. You have to monitor the progress from day to day. I'm having a problem. My finger touch is not taking. To specific observation of the patients and give report to the doctor. Then also regarding, for example, wound, drainage, bleeding, any problem is there, you have to tell the doctor about it, and the doctor will advise what to do. Then accordingly, we have to give the care. To carry out a plan made for a care of patient, to evaluate results of treatment and patient satisfaction. Okay, so that is important also. Then To maintain good interpersonal relationship with the patient, it's also equally important. To prescribe any modification in nursing action, that is also important. So these things you have to keep in mind. So first bundle we will begin. So what is the first bundle? Anybody has an idea? Now we have come to the nursing care bundle. All this introduction and everything we have seen. So nursing care bundle. So what is the first bundle? Identify the problem. Okay. So if you're going to identify the problem, then what you're going to do about it? How you're going to identify? How you're going to identify? Identify the problem by and physical assessment. That means basically meaning you have to assess the patient. Then only you have to assess the patient how? By looking, by observing, by talking. You have to coax the patient out so the patient can tell the problem. Sometimes you see patient have no problem, says, "Oh, I'm very good. I'm very happy, sister. I have no problem. Nurse, I am absolutely fine. I had very good sleep." So nurse also feels very good about hearing that. They are telling patient is feeling good and patient is okay with it. So they're very happy. But the patient says, I could not sleep in the night. I was not feeling good about it. And the whole night I didn't get sleep like that. So you feel, how you feel at that time? Can't hear. How you feel when patient is not satisfied and dissatisfied, how you feel at that time? You don't feel happy, na? You don't feel happy, right? So you don't feel happy. So you want patient to be happy, satisfied. Patient came here to be healed. Patient came here to get good treatment and become better and then to go home. Correct? So you have to, achha, what are the identifiers that you should be using? How will you identify a patient? To know this is your patient, how will you identify? Identifier. Tell me two identifiers. Patient's registration number and patient's name. So first patient's name you will say, then supposing two patients are together of the same name. So what you will do? You look for the registration number. Definitely maybe some very rare it happens. Two patients have the same name and same surname also. First name and surname. It becomes difficult. Registration number. Okay, it is very important that registration number also you have to identify. That is one identifier, and patient's name is another identifier. Patient's name, how will you identify? And admission and patient is conscious. Ask the patient the name. Say, sir, if you don't mind, tell me what is your name, please. Patient will tell the name. Oh, madam, please tell me your name. Patient will tell. Patients who are conscious and well oriented, they will be able to tell you better. But that is a totally a real scenario on ground. So where patient is telling the name, so you know, okay, patient's name is this. Okay. So in that case, you ask the patient, you can see the documentation on the file, and also you can look at for the patient registration number. That also will help. Okay. Will you identify the patient by the bed number? How many says yes? How many of you are saying yes? Everybody saying no? Sure? Why? You do not identify a patient by the bed number because now currently patient is there on that bed. For some reason, the patient has been changed or transferred out or discharged, and suddenly in a rush of the moment, another patient is waiting. Quickly you do the cleaning and stabilizing the bed and everything, and then another patient may have been received on that bed, and the nurse at that time was not there and left, or maybe some other staff has been allocated to take over, or some other doctor quickly comes and they will see patient who's already there. Then what will happen? Actually, the patient who was there, it's already gone, and the patient who was not supposed to be there, new patient has come and sitting on that bed. There's a problem. isn't it? So I will tell you one example. One day what happened? It's a real scenario. Okay. So what happened? There was a bed. In that bed, there was a patient. Patient's diet came and it was kept, liquid diet it was kept on the patient table. You know, no, your food trolley tables are there, so it was kept for that patient. And patient had to be transferred out immediately. So to some other ward. So patient had gone to that ward because doctor came and wrote quickly, just now you transfer out. So they got everything ready and all done. Patient got transferred out. The diet was still left because patient has, sister has taken the patient down, yet the nurse has transported taken the patient with her, and she gone. Patient is transferred out to that ward and comes back, and the remaining things she's going to send it. So something like that. But the patient liquid diet was kept over there on the table. Okay. Meanwhile, what happened? While she went to transfer, the bed had to be cleared up and everything with the patient waiting, and patient has been received. Okay. So the nurse just comes on and she said, "This new patient has come. Please take over." And she has taken over the patient. She took as an allocation. So while she was doing everything, and then patient has to be given food and things like that. So she has to think what diet it is. Then she will tell, doctor will advise, and then she has to contact the diet department, and she has to send a requisition for it. And then the diet and all will be coming from there, and patient will have. Doctor said, "Hey, তুমি খেতে পারো, কোনো ব্যাপার না, খাওয়া দিয়ে দেবে. Food will be given to you. Don't worry, you can have your food." But then what happened? Patient said, "Oh, I can eat, so this is mine only." Patient can take it and drink it, but it doesn't belong to that patient. The diet belongs to some other patient. Maybe that means what is happening? Wrong patient, wrong diet. Or maybe patient is NPM. After certain hours, patient will not be taking anything. Certain hours meaning in another 2 hours time, patient should not be taking anything. But sometimes patient also doesn't understand. By the time we communicate with the patient may not wait. And oh, this is for me, just in front of my trolley only. Why I will not have it? So patient can have it. So there are a lot of miscommunication that can happen. So this should not happen. Okay. So that is one reason. Then to identification, Shobha, second one, second care bundle. Rounds. First one, identify the patient correctly. Second is rounds. So rounds, how many types of rounds you have? I meant when I said how many types of rounds you have day rounds and you have night rounds. Day rounds, you're supposed to give how many hourly? Daytime, you will give 1 hourly round. 1 hourly round. This is 1 hourly, one standard time we are telling, but it is not possible that after 1 hour I will go to the patient. As and when required, you have to go and give your rounds. You have to talk to the patient. You have to communicate with the patient. You ask the patient. If the patient gives you bell, you have to go. So within that 1 hour, so many times rounds are happening. These are all mini rounds, but very important rounds. And you know, this rounds helps to solve a lot of problem when you go to your patient side and you do it, isn't it? So it is very, 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 very important that you should keep giving rounds as and when required. But and supposing for some reason you're very busy with some other patients, okay, and you have not been to that patient, but you have to see that your time does not exceed more than 1 hour. Within that 1 hour, again you go back and you see your patient. Right? When you're giving medication, you're going. When you're giving round, doctor's round, consultant rounds, you're going on round. Then after that, when some treatment has to be carried out, again you're going. So like this, there are lots of rounds you're giving. But for some reason, maybe patient has one medicine in the morning at 9 a.m. Before that, you have checked the vitals and things like that and given the medication and everything, patient is fine. Then you are maybe busy with another patient who actually needs more attention. So while you were that patient, 1 hour has passed and you have not seen this patient. But you have to come back and see to this patient. That is the reason why we say 1 hourly round is mandatory. Of course, within 1 hour, you have to go as and when required. Okay, so night rounds, how many hours you have to give? 2 hourly. Why daytime you're keeping like a standard time of 1 hourly, and night time you're keeping 2 hourly? Why? Because patients in the night time, they're trying to sleep and they're sleeping. So as a nurse, when you go to your patient side, first you have to go to the patient and you have to explain to the patient that I'm so and so. You have to introduce yourself. Okay, you have to introduce yourself to your patient and say, I am sister so and so, brother so and so. I am your nurse. If you need anything, please give a bell. I am here. Right now, I'm on duty and I will be on duty, say, from 8 in the night to 8 in the morning. So I am here. Anything you require, please give a bell. Isn't it? So accordingly, you will explain to the patient, introduce yourself. Then you have to give all your vitals. You have to check for the patient, assess the patient, give the patient medication. Before that, you have to check your vitals also. No, a lot of patients get like hypertensive drugs or any other drugs. So before giving those kind of drugs or anything that is affecting your vitals, you have to monitor. Talk to the patient, explain to the patient, and tell the patient. If it's a bedridden patient, of course, definitely you have to give your side rails, etc., and all this. But if it's a patient who's walkable, who's moving and going to the washroom, and all, you have to explain and try to and always try to keep the bed at the low setting, not a very heighted. It should be in a low setting, and put on the dim lights. Okay, and keep everything that patient requires close to the patient. Keep it, and then accordingly you move. And before you go leave the patient bedside, you tell the patient, I am here only close by. If you require anything for something, please give a bell and I will come. If I'm taking little time, if I'm getting if you have given bell, if I'm taking a little more than the expected time of yours, then please try to understand that I'm maybe with another patient trying to attend to the patient. So you have to explain to the patient. So patient also satisfied, okay, sister is taking a little time to come, or brother is taking time to come, or nurse is taking time to come. We be busy with another patient. But she said she will come, but he said he will come. So you will understand. So say that everything, and then you go to the next patient and finish it up. So nighttime, whenever you're giving rounds to the patient, because some patient may be having fluid, some patient maybe has to get feeds, then some patients, some medications are there at a certain hours of the night. So you have to go. Some patient you may have to check vital. Some patient who's having high fever, you have to go and check fever as soon as the antibiotic drugs have been administered. So again, you have to check vital. So a lot of things to do. So every time when you're visiting the patient unit or patient side or to the patient, you cannot make a noise. You can't clatter with stethoscope. You can't clatter with your trolleys that you're moving around. No noise should be there. Noise should be minimized. Because a lot of patients, they sleep at night. They are very light sleepers. So then there's a problem. Isn't it? So you have to be careful about it. Okay, so that is about your rounds. So what is your third care bundle? So third care bundle is all about like should I say like you have to shift handover. It is shift handover. So what happens in third bundle shift handover? So when you're taking handover, you have to use a tool called what tool? What other tools are there? Fine. You're using ISBAR. A lot of people are using SBAR. There are a lot of communication tools, but we are using here ISBAR. So according to ISBAR, you have to see that all your documents are properly done. So what is I stands for? Identify the patient correctly. S stands for situation of the patient. What is the current situation of the patient? Or what was the situation in the past or when patient came at the time of admission? Okay, maybe there is certain situation we have to be aware of. Then B is for background of the patient. So background of the patient, what is happening? Past history of the medical history or surgical history, or maybe it is continuing into the present. So you have to remember the background of it. So then after that, A for assessment of the patient. So you're assessing at every shift. You are assessing within the shift as and when required. Okay. Then R. What is R? You have to recommend. Okay, this has been done or this is to be done, and you also reevaluate. Patient did have fever. Now I have rechecked the fever or reassess the vital signs, and the fever is so this much, this much, this much, and doctor is advised to give medicine at this many hourly for fever, and you have to check the before after that you have to check the temperature again. Then temperature persistently going on, you have to inform the physician. Then accordingly, when the physician will advise, and then you have to carry out the thing. So this is the recommendation. So ISBAR is bar. Sometimes people are also using, in some other organization is using SBAR. So we first finished identification of the patient. Then we thought of the rounds, hourly rounds and 2 hourly rounds. Third, we are seeing the shift handover. Okay. Now, during shift handovers, you also have to see that, you have to, during the shift handover, when you are doing all this as a nurse, before giving handover and while you're giving handover, and the nurse who's taking the handover should also check onto the documentation part. Because documents get left like that. Incomplete is there because you have not checked, so it is incomplete. You have to check the documents. You have to check the doctor's order. You have to check your nurses, all the documents of the nurses, and what is pending, what is going on. You have to see the document. It's not that I told you over the phone, and you took long to come, so I am going out. So you just receive. I am telling you over the phone, please take the handover. Handover does not happen like that. Happens? It doesn't happen. So you have to check the documents, and checking the documents is also a part, but also you have to check the patient. Without checking the patient, don't take. Suppose a post-operative patient is there, or maybe just patient have 0 day or a first day or a second day. The operative site is healthy. Is the dressing done? Who has done the dressing? When the next dressing has to be done? There is any oozing? If there are any drains, are the drains functioning properly? Are the drains labeled well? You have stickers, labeling stickers also. If there are 2 drains, drain 1, drain 2, like that, you have to label them. If patient is having any extra lines, whether they are labeled, whether the lines are well taken care of, properly the dressing has been done at the lines. The de-lining should not happen. So because of everything is okay. So you have to go to the patient bedside, you have to test the patient, you have to see the patient, you have to say everything that is okay during shift handover. Okay. So we also have a bundle called meal round. What is it? Meal round. Now what happens at meal round? During meal rounds, the moment the meal starts coming in for patient, you have to see that the right patient gets the right meal. The dietitian or the pantry people who come and they distribute the diet make very sure that they're given the right diet to the right patient. Okay. So when the diet comes onto the table, you have to prop up the patient. You have to make the patient very comfortable. A patient would like to eat by himself or by herself, you have to adjust the table, you have to adjust the bed, you have to adjust the position, and keep everything within the reach on the table so that patient can easily take and have. It's not like that. It should not happen like that. Okay, patient tried to outreach something and fell down. Patient tried to outreach and take something, and then somehow the thing got hit and fell down. So you have to arrange neatly. The diet should be there. Encourage patient to eat. Give a serviette where they can cover so that they don't spill it over themselves and things like that. Then at the same time, there are other patients for the diet that you have to feed them, either orally, either through rice tube, or whatever ways of feeding them. That place you have to stand and you have to say everything is done. Okay. So patients who are getting liquid diet or any other kind of liquids through tube or orally sips, you have to give little bit with a spoon, trying oral feed and things like that. Keep them always in a propped up position. So there are different angles for keeping. 45 degree, Fowler, semi-Fowler, 90 degree. So you can nicely keep the patient. After feed, please keep the patient like that for at least half an hour. After that, gradually, little bit head end should be elevated, and then patient can take a lateral position to sleep, or maybe, sleeps on the back, supine position, whatever. But it should be in a, again, proper position. Okay. So you see that patients finish their diet well. Okay. Anything they require, be attentive always, So keep everything like the water and things like that. A lot of people don't like drinking water while eating. So a lot of people like drinking water while eating and things like that. So you have to, very nicely see the smooth functioning of the patient diet at the time of meals. Okay. So how many bundles we finished up to now? 4 bundles. What is another bundle? Anybody can tell me? HS care bundle. What is HS care bundle? Hours of sleep. Night time. HS care bundle. Okay. So night time, as I was telling you a little earlier, that when you go to the patient side, when I was talking about night rounds, that is the time I mentioned. Night rounds are very important. As I said, you go to the patient, you talk to the patient, you introduce yourself, then you have to take care of a patient. As I told you, you have to explain if you need anything, give the bell. And if I'm taking a little longer time to come to you, so you have to understand that I'm maybe with another patient. Otherwise, you don't worry, you go to sleep. I am here, I will attend to you, I will be checking on you. You sleep peacefully, you do not worry. Then patients, you have to give side rails and see that patients don't fall off at night. The elderly patients especially, they always have a dream that oh, I was going here, I thought I was going here and I fell down. Recently one incident has happened. That patient was saying, I was calling, they didn't come, so I thought I'll go myself. So I was dreaming like that and I was going and I fell down, whereas the patient relative was in the room. Isn't it? It happened, recently happened. So these are the things that happens. Then all patients' belongings. Okay, what are the patient's belongings? Patient dentures, patient's watch, maybe. Patient's books. If they like reading, they will be reading book. And now a lot of places, hospitals are allowing them with mobiles. A lot of patients are being allowed with mobiles if they have their mobiles. Their spectacles. Okay, so a lot of things are there. So you have to remember that these are the things that has to be on the table next to the bed. So in case they want anything, water to drink, all should be within the reach of the patient at the side of the bed of the patient. So patient doesn't have to go to see a time, started looking for spectacle and went over the bed and fell down. That should not happen. So all should be within the reach of the patient. Explain that it is all here, do not worry. Okay. So one important points I want to mention, that there are certain P's. What is P? P is, you understand what I mean by P? Capital P, small s. You have to, when you go on rounds, you have to remember this P's. I told you, hourly round, night rounds. Okay, so these certain 4 P's or 5 P's are there, you have to remember. First P is, you have to remember protection of the patient. Okay. Second P, whether patient's position is okay or not okay. Third P, patient's possession. Patient's possession. Possessions are what? Just now we spoke. Spectacles, dentures, they're reading books. They may be reading both those books. Then what else is there? Mobile. All these are patient possession. You have to tell the patient it's all here. Okay. The care of possession of the patient has to be taken care of. Then patient whether has passed potty or not. What is potty? Potty, bowel movement. Bowel movement of the patient. Okay. So you have to remember. And another P is patient whether having pain or what. No pain. A lot of patients are not comfortable because they're having pain. So maybe if you give a little comfortable position, the pain will ease. or maybe really patient is having some kind of a pain with even positioning is not easing, then what you will do, you will tell the physician if there is any painkiller already advised, then you have to see the timing and accordingly you have to administer the painkillers. Maybe patient position can be supported with good pillows and proper support and things like that. So remember this. How many P's I said? 5 P's. So tell me one by one. First P is protection of the patient. Second, position. Third, possessions of the patient care to be taken. Fourth, bowel pattern. So patient has passed potty or not, whether the abdomen is soft or it is tense, what is it? Okay. That means bowel movement has to be open. And the last one, pain management of the patient. So these are the 5 P's you have to remember. Clear about the bundles? Hourly rounds are there, identification of the patient is there. Then after that, shift handover, meal round, HS care bundle, and one more last bundle I want to tell you, very important bundle is effective communication. Effective communication. So effective communication meaning you have to have a very clear-cut communication with your patient in a very simple language that they understand. If they understand common language, say they're very comfortable in talking and understanding Hindi, so you have to speak in Hindi. If they are very comfortable in understanding the common local language Bengali, so you have to speak in Bengali. If there are certain patients who speak English, Hindi and English, very good, it's also very good. But there are patients who cannot talk, cannot communicate. For those patients, what you will do? Yes? Facial expression is there, but anything else? You have to have, say, so if they are going with using digital products, then you have to have a tablet with all kind of pictures where you can, show the patient. Common pictures like a fan, water, food, urine, washroom, a lot of other things, pain, like that kind of thing, feeling very hot, some kind of expression, pictorial expression, maybe you can show it in the tab. If you have a pictorial book, it's very good, you can show the pictorial book. Patient can't talk, but there are movements of upper limbs, so patient can point out and tell. Okay, sometimes patients are conscious on ventilator with a ET tube, but they're not able to talk because of this. They can only make a noise. That noise you will not understand. So when you show this kind of pictorial part, be it in a tablet, be it in a book or anything like that, they will point it out and they will tell. That is a way of communication. If patient can talk very well, you have to talk in two way. There has to be two-way communication. Okay, but you have to allow more of the patient to talk and you have to listen. When the patient stop telling what he or she is saying, then you ask the question. Then accordingly you help the patient. Same thing goes with the relatives also. They come time to time to visit and they want to know this, they want to know that, they were concerned. So that is the way the communication plays a very important role. Okay. In this bundle, overall, very important role is there of a nurse. Nurse, overall professionalism. Nurse, overall professionalism. Nurse has to be very smart. Nurse should not be over smart. Nurse has to be very nice in a soft skill, his or her soft skill. And nurse has to groom well. You know what I mean by groom? Dress up well, but don't overdress. You should have an always smiling face, depending upon the situation. Of course, somebody who's absolutely at the end of life care and you are smiling, that is not accepted. I mean, like when patients are conscious around you, when patients are there, even patients who cannot talk and they're watching you, you're being observed always with the patient relative, and your co-workers and your team members, everybody. So you should have a very pleasant facial look. A smile should be there, isn't it? And you should not bring your personal problem into professional places. You have anything, you're upset about something, and you're not feeling good, you go behind the scene. Solve your problem, but when you're on ground, you have to be very professional. Okay? So you have any questions to ask me? Have you understood everything? Yes? Okay. So no questions. Thank you.